Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Farish, and this morning I found myself at the First Parish Church in downtown Dover, New Hampshire, a congregational church, and I'm joined by Carol Seeley, who is a former board member, chair of the board at the Warner House, and current president of the Northampton Historical Society, and an active member of this church, and she's agreed to show us around. Thanks, Carol.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Good.
This is my home church, and I really love it. All of us here love the building, but more than that, we love each other. And we want to share this building that means so much to us with you. We're standing in the narthex of this building, which was put up in 1833. This is the 5th building of First Parish, and it is hopefully the last one. We have done a lot to keep it going, and by still respecting the heritage and history. Captain James Davis of Dover was the architect of this building. The actual builders were Albert Pendexter and George Pendexter, and Samuel Drew. And they actually did the construction. Down here in our narthex, we have several things of interest before we go into the sanctuary. We have this list of ministers of this parish over the years, starting in 1633.
Wow.
All the way down to the present time. We had our last pastor before this was Michaud Bennett. And we now have Reverend Paige Bessie Rankin, our first female pastor, and she is wonderful, especially during this COVID. She has kept this church, helped keep this church alive and doing well. And let's move into the sanctuary, and I can show you some of the things. Right here, we have some of the old objects that were used in the service. There's an old key to the front door. And
So look at this collection basket
yes,
on a long handle.
yes. That is amazing. And we have a collection of beautiful silver that we keep here. And someone must periodically polish.
I was going to say, someone's really keeping up with that polishing. I'm impressed.
That's right. That's not mine job, but okay, let's
And it looks like there's so much musical equipment around. Is music a big part of this congregation?
yes, it is. Music is part of the life and soul of this church.
You can tell.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Right now, in the COVID era, we have put some money into doing virtual recording. We do have some people coming in, standing safely apart and wearing masks until we sing, and then we are recorded. And later, our wonderful Emily Grondin, who is now our sound engineer for the church, mixes it and puts it all together so that we have music most Sunday mornings, fairly recent music.
That's wonderful.
It is.
So as I walk into the sanctuary, I'm reminded of St. John's in Portsmouth,
Yes.
and the church in Newcastle that we featured just a few days ago.
We used to have wraparound balconies like they do in those churches. And in, I believe it was 1878, there was major renovations done to the sanctuary.
And they removed these side balconies, but kept the one in the rear.
Yes. And as you move forward towards the front, we have up here, you can see the trumpet on Shabbat. Those are part of the organ, and it is a wonderful sound, and that was added much more recently, in the 1970s, I believe. And the organ was redone at that time also. And it's really wonderful. And we have a very active choir, and a note of interest. I did not know this until yesterday. This pulpit used to be 3 feet higher.
Huh.
When they did the renovations, they brought the pulpit down.
In the 1870s?
Yeah.
What was the reason for that? Do you know?
No, I don't. But
You just
at
know
the
they
same
did it.
time, there used to be stained glass windows in here.
Yeah.
And not now.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. And there's no center aisle.
Right.
So the bride can't walk down the center aisle.
And that center medallion also from the 1870 renovation?
I honestly am not sure.
Looks like it.
Yeah, I think it is.
You mentioned before when we were briefly chatting, Peter, I believe, that you think it's influenced by William Morris.
Oh, Carol had mentioned that,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see
You
some
can
of
see
that,
it,
definitely.
yeah. And this niche has been so beautifully decorated for
Yes.
the holiday.
Yes. We used to always have a large tree over there, but this year, because of the COVID, and not actually using the sanctuary for worship, we didn't do that. Instead, we had luminaries on the steps outside,
Oh, beautiful.
and people donated the candles. They weren't real candles. So,
I see.
but we still have this. In fact, I think it's this coming week on Sunday morning, the children will be presenting the pageant. They used to do it before Christmas, but it got too busy. So now it's an Epiphany pageant, and it works
Perfect.
very well. Yes.
And your organ is in the front of the sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I think of organs as being in the rear of the sanctuary. Is that an anomaly, or are there many churches that have their organs up front?
I think more now. I think the organs in the rear of the church are an older tradition, and I'm not quite sure why.
Well, I also think it's a denomination sort of,
Thing.
Yeah.
so Episcopal and Catholic churches are more in the back, but when you look, the choir stalls in a Protestant church were usually in the front
Yes.
of the building.
We used to have choir stalls. The organ used to be over that way further, I believe. And there were choir stalls right here in the very front. The choir got so big, quite honestly, they wouldn't fit in the choir stalls. So the choir now sits in the first couple of rows in the front.
I see. They want it out of their stall.
Yes.
And
They
just
did.
a little surprise, and there's a wonderful little stained glass that survives, it seems, although no longer illuminated from the outside, but right above where the center of the niche is.
Wow. Good eye, Peter.
Isn't that beautiful?
Nice.
So your congregation must be so large that you continue to add on to the building. We came in to a very modern entrance,
Yes.
so there must be a lot of activity
There
continuing
is.
to happen in this federal structure to
It
have
is.
numerous 20th century additions on it. So the building can be used, not
Yes,
just for church
it can.
services.
We use this building for many things. We have a dance troupe that uses it regularly. Even now, they practice safe practices.
Wow.
And we have also many things that we as a church are active in. We are active in the summertime, the Grab and Go program. And at this time of year, the N68, which is for end 68 hours of hunger. And We also have the fairly more recent organized efforts for the homeless here in Dover. We jokingly say we are the tents and boots church. We have a barrel or a bin where we can put tents, literally tents, boots, and warm winter jackets for the homeless. We collect them.
That's wonderful. And all from National Register of Historic Places listed building.
Yes.
So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is.
And they just did some maintenance on the roof and the steeple too, didn't they, Carol?
Yes, they did. They replaced the slates on the roof and they have fixed the steeple. It was in danger of falling.
Collapse. So it's still a slate roof?
Yes.
Is it the original roof?
No, not anymore.
But it served a good long life while it was
did.
up there, yes.
It did. Very much. So, do you have any other questions?
No, thank you so much for letting us in here today and giving us this tour
Thank you,
and
Carol.
sharing this wonderful space.
It's very special.
Thank you.